The Riot MMO is facing a new challenge. That's right, the Riot MMO, guys. Probably the only MMO that's really prepping, or, it's not just all talk. It does feel like this thing is going to be on a level of World of Warcraft, right? Riot, obviously a major company with major lore, tons of background lore to their characters from League of Legends. They have an entire world built out called Runeterra. They have a lot of OGs over there getting ready to make this thing. A lot of guys from World of Warcraft, previous WoW teams and everything. But they're facing a new challenge. What is that new challenge? Evidently, this just came out. And, hey, it's a tough thing making an MMO. Let's see what kind of challenges they're going through and how, hey, maybe this will line up as good competition for WoW. We'll see. Let's check this one out here from Necrit.
I have been baited by the glinting eyes of the Riot Games' massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Meaning it is time to talk about Riot's MMO again. Also, I'm washing all my hoodies and I only have the grey one. I feel like a different person. So, it's been a little bit since we did our last checkup on this magnificent yet alive project from Riot Games. Well, actually...
Right, it is alive. A lot of people thought the Riot MMO was a dead project. Now, they're still doing it. They just delayed it. I think it was supposed to be like this year. 2026 was like the original date they had set for when we would actually get a Riot MMO, and obviously they changed it. Now they don't have like an official timeline necessarily for this thing. It's just been like, just know we're going back to the drawing board. We don't like where we were going with this, and we're still working on it. And clearly they're still working on it. We just saw the other day they hired another previous World of Warcraft dev, the PvP guy. God, I forget his name, but he's joined them. So there's a lot of guys over there still working on this thing. They're still hiring people. They're still growing the team, and they're still working on it.
It's been 4 weeks
2030,
since the last news that affected the Riot MMO.
Is that what this is?
But against the odds,
We'll see.
we are back, and there are more things that we can talk about. And this time, the topic is very specific. Because not only did we get some reactions from Riot to topics that talked about specific game designs, but there is also a new beast that is riling up in the space of MMOs, and Riot might have to deal with it. So the news arrived in the form of another MMO failing. Yes, again.
Yeah.
Yes, this has been a little bit of a reoccurring phenomenon in the space of
It's
MMO.
tough, man. It's tough to make an MMO. Let me tell you, it's freaking hard out there. Baldicus, how are you today? Good, good. His name is the PvP guy. That's right, that's right. I can't remember his name right now, but we just talked about him the other day. He's joined the Riot team. And actually, is it Halinka? I think maybe. Anyway, there's always news about Riot MMOs coming. If you ever want Riot MMO news, by the way, there is this website, Riot Grove. I'll link this in the chat and down below. This thing is always updated. Yes, Halinka. There is updates all the time from the Riot MMO and all the other Riot-based games. This guy, Riot Grove right here, he drops the news every week. He's kind of like the WoW head for the Riot MMO and all the Riot-based games. So yeah, you can check out his website. I'll link it down below on YouTube if you haven't, if you're watching this there.
These days. Because literally every new MMO that arrives either dies a few months after it arrives, or it dies
before it's born.
own arrival.
Yeah.
New World didn't exactly deliver on the living fantasy world idea. Project Ghost burned right after all the testing phases. Ashes of Creation also burned down because they spent all the Kickstarter money on luxury items. And so up to this point, it's been the Riot MMO that's been the last titan standing.
Right.
Or at least the idea of it is standing. Which naturally made a lot of people doubt that the Riot MMO is ever going to come out. And unfortunately for...
Look, making an MMO is a freaking massive undertaking, and that's why some of these larger companies like Amazon tried it. Right, New World, I think, was decent, honestly. They had done a lot of good things with it since its launch. They added mounts and everything else. It was going in the right direction, but they canceled it. Microsoft wanted to make an MMO, but instead they decided to not do that and buy an MMO. That's why they went and they bought freaking Blizzard. I know a lot of people, Blizzard Activision, a lot of people will say, oh, no, they bought it for, Call of Duty. That's why. And Call of Duty obviously was a big part of that transaction, but trust me, so was World of Warcraft. Being in the MMO game, it's a future-looking thing, because where things are going, where society's going, MMOs, I think we're going to re-enter the golden age of MMOs. I really do see that. Whether it's, I don't think it'll be VR-based or whatever, but people are going to, AI taking over a lot of people's jobs, all this shit happening. A lot more people are going to be home, sitting on universal income, wanting to connect with other people in the world. hey, what better way to do it than MMO? I think there's going to be a resurgence of MMO popularity. And right now, Microsoft positioned themselves well buying WoW, and Riot's trying to set themselves up to capitalize on that too.
Riot, it is not like they can exactly confirm that they are still working on it, because before they do that, it would be a good idea to officially announce the MMO first. And so,
Definitely
from the information we got, the Riot MMO is still going. And in fact, they are hiring more veterans to help out with it. And so from the breadcrumbs we got, it seems like the dev team behind the Riot MMO is very healthy. And most importantly for us, it seems like Riot is still aiming for the release of 2030 at the latest.
Okay.
So 3.5 years to go.
What? Oh shit, he's right. When he said 2030, for some reason, I'm like, damn, that's so far away. Oh my God, 2030 is only 3.5 years away? What the hell? When did that happen? Jeez, I feel like I'm in a freaking time warp or something sometimes. All right, that's not too far off, actually.
Is, as we mentioned, keeping an
Sam is a
MMO
math
alive like this is very rare in today's world. Because the most
We get it
played
old,
MMOs,
yeah, we are.
as well as the only really living MMOs, are the veteran MMOs that stick to the good old formulas. And because people are already attached to the old MMOs, it is hard to release a new MMO and make people want to jump onto that one. Not to mention that in the
there's like the whole time sink fantasy or whatever, fallacy, whatever they call it, time loss fail. Where like some of us just play WoW because we've been playing WoW, and that continues to like recycle on itself. Like I've been playing this game for me since 2006. How could I ever stop playing or start a new game? All my shit's in this game, and there's kind of that like you really do get pulled into the bubble. And then it's very hard to leave it because you feel so attached to all the shit you've gathered over the years. That's one thing MMOs do for sure, is when they hook you, they hook you. So it is really hard for a new MMO to come around and convince somebody who's gathered up items in World of Warcraft for 20 plus years to start fresh in a new MMO.
Vast majority of the modern MMOs, the design is not exactly the
called
classic
Stockholm
RPG
Syndrome.
experience.
No, isn't that like where you're abuser, you get attached to them? I don't know if WoW is my abuser or capture.
People want. In most cases, we are talking about what is called an instanced MMO, where you play with other players, but you don't really get the massive scale. And well, this is what leads into the latest event, which is also something that will eventually dribble down.
Yeah, time sunk fallacy. That's exactly what I was thinking. This is what time sunk fallacy is a tendency to continue investing time in a project or activity simply because you have already spent significant time on it, even when it no longer provides value. It does sound like WoW at times. I'm not gonna lie. Like something you're getting on WoW, and you're like, "Why the fuck am I doing this?" It's honestly you're just doing it because you've already put so much damn time into that thing. Yep, that's what it is. Sam's so smart, I know.
To the Riot MMO, with the news being that another MMO has died. Yes, really. And this time, Amazon Games are letting go of the new Lord of the Rings MMO, which was enough.
Yeah, I guess this pivoted. The Lord of the Rings MMO, I was excited about it because I love Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I love it, absolutely. But they're going with a...
Let us lay waste to this realm.
Nathaniel, thank you for the sub, man. Welcome to our Scourge. They're going with a new, what is it, like a open world, a single player Witcher style game. Now it's going to be a single player RPG. So that's what they're going. It's completely open world and everything else, kind of like Hogwarts Legacy or any of these really popular single player games right now. That's what they're going to do now. It looks cool. I'll be interested to play it.
Announced in 2023, so after 3 years of development, it's gone. And it kind of makes sense why. I mean, Amazon Games were behind New World, which didn't exactly have a great time.
Yeah.
So it is possible that Amazon, as a publisher, is kinda done with the MMO space. Now, what is kinda funny and not depressive at all is that in the same announcement, they also cancelled an AI-generated game called Project Trident, and they announced that the entire company will be now exploring generative AI.
Great.
Now, where is the really funny part? The old Lord of the Rings MMO is still standing. Now, the way these news eventually dribble down to the Riot MMO is through Twitter. Again, You see, after this announcement was made, people started talking about the state of MMOs, pointing
I don't know why. I seen people in the chat. I don't know why you're commenting. He goes, "I just prayed this game isn't targeted towards lesbians only." No, it'll be targeted towards everyone. Hopefully, it's. I don't know why that fucking comment made me laugh.
out how MMOs these days are just done.
Just
Because
a bunch of
all
blue-haired
people wanna
characters
really
running
play
around.
is the minigames like in Fortnite and Roblox, and that's your multiplayer experience. And how this quick-styled gameplay is the vast majority of the social gameplay. In fact, these games are 90% social media and 10% gameplay.
True.
End of quote. Now, the truth is that I am a little bit knowledgeable on this topic because I started playing WoW when I was 12.
Obligatory WoW resume. It's unbelievable how we all do this. I literally just did it early in the video. There is something about MMOs or talking about World of Warcraft or any other MMO that you are required to indicate when you started playing WoW. Like as a resume, it's like the reason why you're allowed to talk about this subject. You have to, I started playing WoW in 2005. I've been playing WoW since '09. I've actually been Gladiator twice, and I've been playing WoW since 2015. This is like, I don't know what it is, but we all do it.
I am now 31, I am old, thank you for asking.
I'm old
In
too.
fact, between making this video and making my own video game and starting other projects and being a father, I am trying to be relevant in the burning...
Sounds like a typical WoW player these days. 30 plus year old dad, probably balding under that hat, who now has a kid and is still trying to play some WoW every once in a while. Yep.
crusade.
It's
And
a
yes,
WoW
I
Andy.
sang an unholy number of hours into classic WoW on multiple accounts. Anyway, I can tell you that during the good old days of ancient MMOs, the 90% social network and 10% gameplay is exactly what MMOs were always about. I mean, the design of classic WoW relies on you finding other people to do group activities with.
Right.
So you have to be social, or at least you have to participate in the social activities to progress. And after you reach the end game, 90% of your time is the preparations for the raid and managing people and managing schedules and putting together the raid. And after that, you have the 10% of gameplay, which is actually raiding. So if you try to compare apples to apples here, the Roblox design is actually what MMOs have been doing the entire time. And ever since those old days, it always worked. The difference is that Roblox is just aiming for a much younger audience.
Yeah.
With the gameplay
My kids
also
play it
being
all the time.
far more questionable. But apparently, Roblox is slowly declining these
Oh,
days
no.
because they are not exactly treating their player base well. And so who knows, maybe the Titan will fall eventually. I mean, they all did before them. Anyway, the point is that this then started a conversation, which also summoned people opposing this. People that share the view that
What are Robux? They're the currency that you can use in Roblox. They're just like any other game currency. Real money converted to game currency.
I just shared with you. I have a completely contrary opinion. The MMO is still in 2026 the holy grail of gaming. Look at all the current MMOs. There isn't a single one that in 2004 would make me envious. And other important markers demonstrate that there is still huge interest. New worlds, the release, Star Citizen, and so on. And yes, I do agree with this, and it is the same thing that I mentioned in some of the previous Riot MMO videos. The modern MMOs are actually quite far away from the original massive multiplayer online design.
That's true.
In fact, because the
They're more like online single-player games. A lot of the content in WoW, I mean, I've talked about it. A lot of the content in Midnight and a lot of the content recently added to the game is single-player content. It's meant to allow you to basically be in this open world, but then run off on your own to do your own thing.
MMOs are so
There's nothing
different.
wrong with that.
There is a
It's just
reason
different.
why the audience always clings to the two big dogs. Classic WoW in whatever form it may be now, and, surprisingly, old school RuneScape, proving that the old MMO design is still peak. On top of this, it was proven that it is not just nostalgia, because as these two games have their highs and lows, sometimes the RuneScape players try WoW and they stick with it, and other times the WoW players try RuneScape for the first time and stay there too. And since both of them are very classic MMOs with totally different experiences, you can see where the overlap is. In fact, we also have people that have never played WoW before and now they have an entire series that is very popular. Now, would this actually happen if Classic WoW
We've
was
watched
more
some of
of
these.
a modern MMO? Likely not, and that's because modern MMOs are not really simulating fantasy worlds. They usually simulate a Diablo-styled looter, where you can sometimes see other players running around the world. And so now you have the core MMO audience that is
Right.
still hungering for some kind of a classic experience, and the best part is that the executive producer behind the Riot MMO replied to this with the trademark eyes. Now, does this mean
It's
that the
on.
Riot MMO is gonna go back to the classic design of the early 2000s MMOs? Possibly, but
And look, we do know that the Riot MMO was being made, and I guess they were doing it kind of like, I think there was a comment, they were feeling like it was a reskin of World of Warcraft, and they didn't want that. And maybe it was Classic's success, or, you know, the love for Classic's gameplay that made them realize, like, hey, maybe we go more old school style with this. Maybe what a Necrit's saying is true, that they decided to go more the old way because they realize there's still a lot of people out there who want to play an old style MMO. And by old style, I mean like it requires you to interact with other people. It requires you to group up with other people to do content. End game raid content is end game, and there's no real way to just do shit on your own other than maybe some questing. Yeah, definitely. 30 years old. We have a guy who's 34 in our guild. He's the youngest one. The rest of us are 45 plus. Yeah, yeah. That definitely sounds like WoW players. I mean, I'm turning 36 this month. I've got 4 kids. I'm balding. I mean, I fit the trope perfectly.
it's definitely not guaranteed. You see, a few years ago when the Riot MMO went through the big reset, Riot confirmed it happened because they wanted to change the direction of the game. So either they were trying to make a new modern MMO and they
Yeah, I
saw
think that's what it
wasn't really
was.
working, and so they went back to the classic designs, or they started making a classic MMO, they realized they weren't doing anything new, and so they tried to spice it up. And right now, I really hope they are staying closer to the classic designs. Because that is the formula that the players seemingly really want. That is what the MMO audience is craving right now. And Riot definitely has the power to deliver on it. Which then brings up a question. If this is the experience that the MMO audience was, with classic WoW sitting right there, with a lot of people still returning to it.
I was going to say, though, if they do go the classic route, their competition would honestly be Classic Plus. And that's coming soon. That's going to obviously beat the Riot. I would think it's going to beat the Riot MMO in terms of launch date. I feel like it's going to get it's going to get announced at BlizzCon. And they probably already done a lot of work for it. So I don't think they're going to have to wait till 2030 to get Classic Plus. I think that's coming. And that'll be really the competition for this Riot MMO if that's what they end up doing, is going with a more classic style MMO.
Why don't they just stay happy in classic WoW? Well, simply said, it is because the old design
Classic
is
WoW
great, but nothing new ever happens there.
Yeah.
Yet.
You can't have an MMO that ends. It just doesn't work. It just defeats the entire purpose of an MMO. MMOs are great because it feels like you're always getting stronger. You're always going towards the next thing. You're always advancing in the game in some way, shape, or form. When an MMO ends, it's more like an RPG. It's not really an MMO anymore. So Classic Plus is necessary for Classic to actually be an MMO again.
You see, there seems to be a bit of a titan arriving. Because just as the Riot MMO is very slowly approaching, at the same time, from some of the teasers, it seems like Blizzard is trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Recently, they flew a bunch of classic WoW creators.
Hey, where's
into their
me in this
headquarters,
picture?
On top of which
the
they
hell?
previously confirmed that the classic WoW team is working on new things, which might include a plus. The team recently shut down some private servers which were handling more content for Classic WoW,
Your
which
boy
is
predicted
exactly what Blizzard did before they launched Classic WoW. And so now the chances are really high that next year or the year after that, Classic WoW Plus might actually become real. Which, if you don't have the context, might be one of the most hyped up moments in the MMO space.
It's gonna be hyped.
And if the stars align perfectly, Riot might have to compete with a titan that millions of players are waiting in line for.
Yep.
I mean, when the initial...
I know this looks pre-watched right now, but he's saying what I just said. He pre-watched me. He pre-watched my comments on his video. But yeah, it's definitely going to be their main competition. Classic Plus is going to be the competitor towards the Riot MMO if they go with the classic style gameplay.
Classic WoW released, it broke all the records and it brought WoW back to the 10 million subscribers.
I know, right,
which is
RS?
close to the highest peaks WoW ever had. And that is what Riot should be taking into account. Because people are going to compare the crap out of these MMOs.
Yeah.
If the Riot MMO ends up being one of the modern MMOs, if it beats classic WoW, then Riot is gonna pull off one of the biggest achievements in the MMO space. But if it fails, it is once again gonna prove that the old MMO design just works. And if both of these end up being classic MMO designs, then be ready for hell being unleashed on the internet. Because the fandoms of the Riot MMO and the classic WoW Plus are gonna be worse than the old console wars.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, nice video though overall from Necrit. I really liked it. Good one. Nice summary of things to come. 2030, huh? That seems to be the date. If you want to keep up with the Riot news, don't forget riotgrove.com. As I mentioned before, I check this website all the time. It's like a WoW head for Riot games. It also has all the League of Legends stats for all the players and DPS charts and everything else. And then anything League of Legends, or I should say Riot MMO lore based, this is where you can get your news too. Up to date all the time. This thing's out 13 hours ago, the last article uploaded. So yeah, definitely a cool website. As I said before, link down below if you want to look at it. And not sponsored, hashtag not sponsored. Great video from Necrit. We'll wait on the Riot MMO, see what it ends up being. Pretty cool stuff.